Okay, so this video is troubleshooting how to fix the vision when we have what is essentially a sensor error. And we know that this is a sensor error because here, if we just highlight one of these issues, show details, it says that there's an exception code. Okay, in this case ring buffers, but the key point here is with sensor values. So whenever you have an error with where the sensor value is mentioned, it means that the electronics, which are the sensor electronics of the vision, are just so mucked up that the machine doesn't know what to do. So what we have is a stepwise way of checking everything that's related to a sensor so that we can start off efficiently. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we'll just kill the power. Okay, our positions. So the first one we're going to do is the main cover. Not the main cover, sorry, this is the sample door sensor. So I'm just going to move this around just to make sure that it's free to move. I'll take my racks off at the same time. But I'm happy that it's free to move. Okay, so internally in our reagent position, just make sure that this is free to move. And at the same time, I will take off my reagent racks. Okay, and that is free to move. And the main reason that I take off the racks and the samples is it speeds up initialization. So I'm happy with that. My next thing is I'm going to open up the main cover and then I'm going to check all of my positions. So the first thing I'm going to check is the pipette arm and make sure that it is free to move. So it is free to move and free to move up and down as well. I'm going to check that the incubator position can move. So that's here. And while I'm at it, I'm going to remove these cards that are here. These are going to be wasted and dumped anyway. But by removing them, I speed up the initialization process. Okay, so that looks all okay. So I'm also going to check in case there's any dropped punching cards, which there isn't, so that's okay. The next thing I'm going to check is my centrifuge. I'm just going to remove the lids here. And I'm going to check that the centrifuges are free to move, which they are. I'm going to check for dropped cards underneath here, which there aren't, and that's clear as well. Now you notice that there's a card here. Now this may be causing an obstruction, I don't know, but I'm going to remove it because the instrument's going to remove it anyway. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to check is my gripper, and it's free to move, and as you can see here, this is certainly free to move. Now you notice that there is a card locked into that position. If I was to reinitialize leaving that card there, then that is going to give me a problem. So the way I remove the card is I turn this knob here, that's this blue knob, until it frees it up. I don't have to tighten it, I just leave it as it is. The instrument will find its own torque, its own tension. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to check is I'm just going to put these back into their position. That is sitting there, and that one's sitting there like that. Okay. These are the punchers. Okay, if you do come across a drop puncher, you have to make sure it goes back into position with the barcode facing towards the wall of the instrument. Okay, if it goes in any other position, it will fail to initialize. The last thing I'm going to do is to check this position here, which is where the pipette aligns itself for its X, Y, and Z position. I'm going to make sure it's clean, and I do that by using an alcohol wipe. So I'll just get an alcohol wipe here. Okay, so a standard alcohol wipe. Quick clean, wedge it in there like that. Check it, that's okay. And we're good to go. The last thing we're going to do before we initialize, we empty our waste cassettes. And the reason we empty the waste cassettes is because when we reinitialize, the instrument does not know what the count is in the waste basket. So we're happy with everything. We've checked our pipette, we've cleaned our position, our card puncher is pointed in the correct direction, we have removed any obstructions here that might be on the gripper arm, our centrifuges are all clear, and we're ready to do our restart.